Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting race of the Final Fantasy V Career Day Randomizer. My name is Classy Badger, and with me tonight I have my co-commentator, Rom Stein. How are you doing tonight, Rom?
I'm doing fine. And you, my dear co-commentator?
I'm doing excellent as well. It's get done with work, hop right into some Final Fantasy V Career Day Randomizer. So what more could you ask for? This is actually going to be our winners bracket finals, if I remember correctly. So that, or wait, is this winners bracket finals or is this losers bracket semifinals? Do you have no, Rom?
Well, it's the first of the two matches of this round, so it's winner bracket semifinal.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, so both of these runners then are safe. If either one of whoever loses is just going to go to the lower bracket, so they are not just out just yet. But you want to win this because that puts you in a much better spot, obviously, going into the next race. So we see everybody doing the standard dive, just going into the castle, the Tycoon Castle, to kind of get your standard checks and everything. So we are seeing that going on. And pretty soon we'll get to see what our first job is. But, okay, so maybe this is an elimination match. Maybe this is lower loser's bracket. I'm seeing in chat. But for anybody who is seeing this Final Fantasy V Career Day Randomizer for the first time, this is exactly what it sounds like, a randomizer for Final Fantasy V. Think of very akin to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. Okay, so this is lower bracket. So the loser of this does go home. But think of this as like very similar to Final Fantasy IV for Enterprise, where it's a open world randomizer. So we have key items scattered throughout the world. You do find different items, different jobs, different job abilities. So even though you might have not found the Samurai job, you can find the Samurai Guild Toss ability somewhere. And Solitary Island holds the Moogle suit. I'll get back to what that means in a second. And yes, I was going to say, this is a rematch, actually, for our runners. So this is going to be exciting, Rom. This is the rematch we had talked about last time.
Oh yeah, it's not the first time those runners face each other. So, who won the first time? It was
Freddeh, I believe, won the first time.
Freddeh won the first time. So Garlyle wants to take his revenge because obviously he doesn't want to be out. Freddeh doesn't want to be out either, and he wants to get back to winner bracket. Obviously, this match is going to be interesting. Will history repeat itself, or well, will the roles get exchanged?
Yeah. Oh, it looks like I think we have Mimic as our starting job. That is spicy.
That is really hype. So Mimic has the Mimic command, which allows you to repeat the last executed command for free, basically. So if the last command executed was Meteor, you do a free Meteor, basically. That's a really helpful command, especially for the beginning of the game, because, big spells cost MPs. You can't really use them at the beginning of the seed because you don't have MPs. But with Mimic, well, you can use it anyway.
Yes. So they're also saying the Dragoon Crystal was also in Tycoon. Yep, and we do see Freddeh does have Dragoon there as well. Dragoon, not one of the strongest classes, but if you find some good equipment, possibly have like the Sealed Castle, like a Dragoon Spear or a Holy Lance, it is usable, but very rarely is it a job that we will take all the way to the final fight. So one thing we did see that makes this randomizer kind of unique compared to Free Enterprise and Worlds Collide is because of kind of the size of the Final Fantasy V game, there's actually a built-in hint system to this game as well, where it might tell you things like where a specific item is located, or it might say like checks of this nature. So for example, meteor checks are barren. So that means nothing in any of the 4 meteors that are in World 1 holds any key that is going to lead you to the void. It might say something along the lines of the ones you want to find, or it's like such and such is on the path of the void. And that means the key item that you're going to get from that check is either going to give you a tablet or one of our other key items. So let me go back a little bit. The go mode items for this randomizer is you need to find the bracelet and the anti-barrier. That allows you to, if you've played the vanilla game of Final Fantasy V, that allows you to unlock World 3, which normally you have to kill X-Death to get to. So those two unlock X-Death's castle so that you can go face X-Death to unlock World 3. And the other 4 key items that you need are the 4 tablets that you see, and the runners do start off with 1 key tablet, or 1 tablet already, just to make the race a little bit more race-friendly as far as a time perspective goes. And it looks like right now we're seeing kind of the standard that we see most people do is the standard shopping spree. You're looking for things like softs, Phoenix Downs, good job abilities or good jobs, some various things like that. We do find the Mute Blade. That is in Tycoon as well. That is a very, very big pickup to find because there is a certain boss that nobody likes to run into by the name of Omniscient, who, unless you cast spells on him, he basically just resets the fight. But if you put Mute Blade onto a Mystic Knight or anybody who can use Mute Blade spells, just instantly turns that fight off because he can't cast through Mute. So a good early pickup to find there. We find White 2, another solid pickup. Not the biggest one you'd like to find, but it can help you cast an early cure. Alright, so we're still seeing the runners just kind of do the standard item hunt. You can see they're picking up a bunch of Revivifies and a bunch of the status items. That is for 2 things. The Revivifies are mainly used for the Chemist job. The Chemist is kind of considered one of, if not the top tier job in this randomizer, just because it can do just about everything. Do you want to make it so you can't be stoned or petrified? Well, there's a mix for that. Do you want to raise your level by 10 to 20? There's a mix for that. So it really makes the very end boss a lot easier.
Well, also you don't want to get trolled by those attacks that turn you into zombies, right? Well,
Correct.
Guess what? Revivifies, or also called Holy Water, depending on the translation you're using, is the item that cures the zombie status. So you definitely want to have a handful of them anyway.
We did see Ancient Library is on the Path of the Void. Now that could refer to one of 2 different checks. That could refer to the normal Ifrit spot that you don't need a key item to get to in the Ancient Library. Or that could refer to the Biblos spot that you do need Ifrit's Fire to get to. But either way, for sure, Freddeh knows he is going to have to go into Ancient Library to find one of his necessary Path of the Void items.
It's a nice Path of the Void to have because, you know, there's also a hint there. So not only do you get an additional hint, but you also get to do a Path of the Void check. And wait, oh no,
Fork Tower, oh no.
So Fog Tower is the worst location you can possibly ask for. It's an endgame check which has 2 bosses. And first of all, it requires Garlyle, so it requires doing more forest, which requires the Elder Branch. And second, you have to split your group into 2 groups to do those 2 bosses, because in the vanilla game you have to kill both bosses at the same time to avoid the towers exploding. So yeah, you get 2 random bosses with reduced groups, and those bosses can be any boss, and you definitely don't want to get like Necrophobe or Twintania in there.
Yeah, seeing Path of the Void is Fork Tower. I guarantee you Garlyle just groaned the second he saw it. And I know Freddeh will too as soon as he sees it. It's not a place you like to go. It's normally one of the last checks. Like, unless you, in this case, you have a hint that specifically says, hey, you have to go to here, you would generally leave it to be one of the very last places you're going to go check.
Oh, and did we also pre-say that if you kill the first boss, get your item, which is the right item, but then you die on the second boss, well, you have to climb Fog Tower again. You can't just leave after the first boss.
Yep,
That's
it is.
the fun
You can't
part.
want it out there. Yep, it is. It is a. You have to go all the way through it. So that's the other reason nobody really likes doing that check. But we're seeing the very early parts of the race, the very standard where you're seeing a lot of people check their hints to get as much information as they can. Hey, we saw this hint before too. Desert of the Shifting Sands is on Path of the Void.
Yeah, Desert is a really easy check to do. Like, the boss isn't too hard, it's an early spot in the game, and it's Big Blue, a big word, Blue Magic.
Now, he's probably still going to reset, unless he took it straight out, but I would imagine Freddie's probably going to reset out and check the other chest. just to see what's in it, but it looks like maybe he just straight took Big Guard.
He's going to keep it. Like, if he wanted to save scam and see both checks here, he would have reset when he got the Big Guard. I think he's going to keep it, and that's a good choice. Big Guard is a really useful spell if you get the blue magic command. So it casts armor, shell, and float on the entire party at the same time. That's really helpful against bosses, especially endgame bosses.
Yeah.
And the only buff you need to apply with that is Hast. So it really helps when buffing against bosses.
Yeah, there's a lot of bosses that Big Guard just makes it so much easier to handle. So yeah, I can't blame him for picking that up. But yeah, so it looks like we were in for quite a seed, though, just kind of based off the Fork Tower alone. And we haven't even, but we have not seen our sealed castle yet. And since both of the runners are in World 2, still doing their hint checks, I would imagine we're probably going to be headed that way pretty soon. Freddeh is going to go get the, he did the same thing I did, accidentally run the wrong way. He is going to go get the check here, the hint that is here in Kelb as well, and also the item from the 3 fox people there.
These are wolves, right?
Wolves, I always forget what they are. Alright, Garlyle's getting that to Path of the Wind. They say Hero Valley, so he holds the Falls page. We don't know if that's anything important right now, but definitely something you want to write down and keep in the back of your mind. Right, so we're still just doing our standard shopping sprees. Find some hero potions, but those really are not something. He is going to buy some tents, so that's a pretty standard buy. And let's see if Garlyle takes Big Guard.
Yeah, he's using the warp crystal, so he's living with it, like he's not resetting. So we will never know what was on the last check.
Yeah, I think Big Guard's just so good that you're just like, okay, there's probably not too much else that's in there that I would probably want over Big Guard. The problem with Big Guard is now you just got to find the, does see slow too, but not a super useful one. But he's going to pick it up.
You would need to find either the blue mage or the blue magic command.
Yep. Which, fingers crossed. He does. Garlyle found white 4 though. Another, again, slowly building up. Obviously, you always want to find the white 6, but white 4 casts, I think, Cure 2 and some of the other important stuff you want.
I think it casts Armor, which is good. I think it can also cast Mute, which is useful against a few bosses, especially the Omniscient.
We did see Ball Castles on the Path of the Void as well. Alright, Garlyle's going into the Sealed Castle. So there's a few spots in the Final Fantasy V randomizer that are similar to like the Free Enterprise's Armory, but I would say it's this and the Moogle suit that most are common. What speed do most people play at? I believe they play it most of the time at the fastest speed.
Oh, Samurai's here, and Black level 6.
Oh, okay, Samurai, you know you're going to pick that up. Probably not this go-around, though, because you're going to want something that's going to help you out with the early, and Samurai outside of Guild Toss isn't that great. Assassin, Flare Sword Magic.
Time 6 is really useful because you get Hast 2. The Chicken Knife, I think he's going to take the Chicken Knife instantly. That's the best knife in the game, and a lot of jobs can equip it. Oh, Summon 5. So yeah, Summon 5 with, like, Bahamut or Odin or Leviathan is really powerful. Those are the best spells, summon spells in the game. Maybe Leviathan.
Conjure.
Yeah, maybe Leviathan for the beginning because we don't have enough MP to actually cast Bahamuts, and Levia won't do much less damage than Bahamut at this point. So Leviathan is a good choice unless your enemy absorbs water.
So how many chests in the game, or like how many chests in the Sealed Castle? I'm not sure off the top of my head how many total chests there are in the game. There's quite a few. I think in Sealed Castle it's a total of what, 8 checks that are in here?
That wasn't Flare. 12. That was Flare Sword in Kuza Castle.
Yeah, so there's 12. No, speed is not a tournament set number. Yeah, and yes, there is 12 in the castle. Yeah. So as far as speed goes, we treat it kind of very similar to Free Enterprise and Worlds Collide, where you can set it whatever you want to play at. There's just some bosses that you might not want to go at the fastest speed because of how quickly they act. things like, I know, Sandworm at later stages, if he is at the highest speed, he kind of gets some issues with him, with how he acts. Oh, it does find a Muramasa, so maybe he's going to keep the Samurai for Freddeh as just a standard class for a while. Berserk Muramasa Samurai, okay. That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, unless you can set up the famous Bowzerker, which means a berserker with a bow, the samurai is currently our most powerful physical job.
Yeah.
And, well, katanas are good. Like, if you get the Masamune, that's basically a free hast. So, if we find a Masamune during the seed, that's really good. Murasame is a good weapon for the beginning of the game too.
So Akir brings up a good point. Ifrit Fire is in World 3, and we know, possibly, we might need that Ifrit Fire in case our ancient castle, or our ancient library Path of the Void Hint is behind Ifrit.
Well, imagine Ifrit's Fire is on October.
Oh, why would you say that?
I love imagining the worst scenarios possible each time.
Because that is something that could actually happen, and looking at the hints that we currently have is quite possible.
Because it's the same as Zelda randomizers. I always like to say, oh, it can be an old dungeon, It's always so fun to imagine the worst possible scenarios. Like, how can these runners be trolled?
Give it up to Zooter runners, because they're all dungeons. When they're like, yeah, I had an all dungeon seed, it took me 5 hours. I'm like, I don't have that kind of mental stamina. So all dungeons, at least in Link to the Past, is at least a little bit more manageable. But yeah, Zooter all dungeons is rough. It could be, Akira. One of the Path of the Void Hints could be the branch, which is then going to lead you to Fork Tower, which then could lead you to, like we said, to the Ifrit's Fire. So just because the hints tell you where you need to go doesn't mean it's going to tell you what you want to hear. Freddie's still doing his shopping. Meanwhile, it looks like Garlyle is actually going to go to the Hiryu plant in Hiryu Valley and see what is waiting for him there. But I think we saw Freddeh try to take this on, didn't he? And reset out of it? Or am I losing my mind? Phoenix Downs to pick up.
Yeah, Phoenix Downs are definitely something you want to have, especially since you don't have the life spell yet. So Phoenix Down are obviously used to revive your dead party members, but later you can also use it with the mix command. Phoenix Down combined with Revivifies gives you a life shield, which protects you from instant KO attacks.
Yep, it prevents the Ted from using his white hole on you and instantly killing you. So Chad is saying that Freddeh checked he looted Hiryu Valley, but he did not fight it. And we run into Halicarnos here. I don't think, Garlyle's going to just reset out. So that is one quality of life function that we have added to the randomizer, that if you're in a fight that you just know you're not going to be able to win, we do have a set command that you can enter that'll instantly petrify the entire team, so you can just reset out quickly.
Yeah,
so
don't worry. Halicarnos didn't literally do a party-wide break. No, that's our command. Halicarnos only does Toad.
Yeah, she does a party-wide Toad, just not a party-wide Stone.
Imagine.
Yeah, party-wide, no, that would be impossible. That boss would just be nightmarish. Alright, let's see who's waiting for us in Wind Tower. Wind Towers are pretty much a check you're always going to do. Hey, that looks very vanilla.
Yeah, that's vanilla Wing Raptor. Well,
yep.
So...
Is this game even randomized?
And that's a free tablet. Well, thanks.
Yeah, holy cow.
Thanks. So that means we're probably going to see X-Magic and Bahamut, or Leviathan, if you picked up Bahamut at the first turn, being added to your spell pools. So that means you can cast, if you have the MP, you can cast not only one Bahamut, but
Conjure
two.
and Knight. Did you see that? Knight and Time Mage. And Conjure, I think I saw in there. And you've got Leviathan and Bahamut.
Yeah, if you only have Bahamut and Leviathan, Conjure lets you summon them for free, and it will only summon them because you only have them. But they picked up a Titan, so it's going to summon Titan more often.
And Alistair, dashing my hopes a little bit, I guess it was Comet, not Conjure, unfortunately.
Oh, it was Comet. Well,
You got time 6?
You can use it with time 6 or time mage.
Oh, but they did pick up, they're saying they did pick up Titan in a chest, so a little less useful now. But you did find Time Mage, and you did find the Night Job. Both really good jobs to find out, or to find. Yep, and there you can see Freddeh must have Conjure already. Just one-shots the Siren, though. Garlyle, meanwhile, is going to go... I guess he's not going to do the checks here in Ancient Library. Must have just ran in and got the hint.
And that's a Yoichi bow, so you can set up your favorite berserker.
Do we have equipped bows? I know we saw Hunter somewhere for about 10,000, so you could, if you don't have the equipped bows ability, you could always go and pick that up for some gold and really quickly learn equipped bows ability.
Well, I know there's also the Dance command available, and we have a chicken knife, so to me, Dancer with Sword Dance chicken knife is going to be way more reliable.
Yeah.
And we also find two-handed ability. Oh, nice.
Also, I've heard that Waterway is on the Path of the Void, so that's another... Was it Moogle Waterway also, or was it...
Moogle Waterway.
Moogle Waterway was Path of the Void, okay. Yeah, everybody going checking hints at different times. Hard to keep track of all of them. Meanwhile, Freddeh doing pretty much the standard progression, gets done with the Wind Temple, is going to now go into the Ship Graveyard, so nothing too unusual with the pathing he's taking here, and tends to be the more common way, unless you can get really lucky and find something that can ramp your levels up really quick. Yeah, we did find Shoat, another good pickup if you have Summoner.
Yeah, Shoat is going to be useful because it basically casts a break ability, like stone spell. If you see the animation, you know it succeeded, so the enemy will instantly get one shot. And many bosses are actually vulnerable to stone status, so we're going to see that often.
Yes, in this randomizer, there are so many bosses that can be instantly killed, either via stone, or via slash, or via Odin's ability. So there's a lot of things that can just instantly kill. When we say random fights, do we mean like are the bosses randomized? Yes, the bosses are randomized. Random encounters, you can turn that on and off, and we do have it set up so that every step you take, it does instantly trigger a random fight as well.
Yeah, but we don't see that often. Like, we see that only if we need to grind something specific, like Dark Matters, if we need it for mixing, or if we need to sell it for money, or if we need early XP and we have like the control command,
Yep. Then you will quickly run, which we have seen that before. We did see somebody, I forget who it was, they actually found the not the capture command, the control command, and actually turned on random encounters, went into the sealed castle, found a shield dragon, just killed one of them off very quickly. So then they got a bunch of experience very fast. I think it got them all the way to level 22. And they were able to skip a lot of the World 1 checks and dive right into some of the harder World 2 stuff. So Garlyle found that 4th tablet and now is going to find his Time Mage and his Night Job.
About random encounters, no, they cannot be bosses. Like, random encounters, overworld, are vanillas. They are vanillas.
So Rama is considered still a boss, so we will possibly run into Rama somewhere, because we treated him as a boss and not like a random encounter that you would just find if you were walking around. So like things like Titan, Rama, they are bosses, so they are possibly in here.
So basically, when deciding which bosses would be in the randomized pool, we treated Ramu, Shoat, and another one just the same as the Gargoyles encounters. So there are 4 additional bosses in the pool. Gargoyles, Shoat, Ramu, and another one. And that means we also see bosses on the Gargoyles spots.
Yes.
So that means that the 4 endgame temple have their own bosses, but also bosses at the entrance.
Yep. So yeah, we definitely kind of it's one of those things. If we added random encounters into this, I think there's like 52 checks total in this game. So Cure 2 found, big pickup, always nice to see. But yeah,
that's going to be your best heal for now, and we can actually use it.
Yes, yeah, we did find White 4. I know for sure Freddeh did.
Yeah, the next good healing spell we can find is White Wind to use with the blue magic, and it's at the same time the best and the worst, because if you use it with someone with max HP, it's the best because you can heal the same amount of HP you have. But if you do it with the party member that has a less HP, it's going to be not so great.
It's one of those, if you have a knight that has blue magic ability equipped, he normally has a very, very large health pool, so it can kind of make him a good White Wind user, but yes, like Rom said, it can be kind of tricky to find like when you want to use it.
And that's the Berserker for Freddeh.
It is, yep. Although this is a hunter with the Yoichi bow equipped and the Berserk ability, unlike our normal Berserker with the equipped bow's ability on. But yeah, Berserker it's become pretty popular in this randomizer, just because bows tend to be on a lower tier, so you find them a little bit more often, and they do still a good bit of chunk of damage. But Titan just takes it down quickly.
Look, for once, we actually have an archer that is being an archer.
Yeah, who'd have ever thought we'd see it? Found the steamship key there. Does not have any hints for it, so we'll have to see if he dives right away into the steamship. Berserker's in the front row, bad for it. Yes, that is one thing we've noticed a lot. People forget to put like bow users in the back row or people who should be in the front row. And there's a Gargoyle, so we get to see that they are added randomly into the boss pool. And he's going to use a quick Guild Toss to take care of him, though.
Yeah, panic button. I don't want to deal with this boss. Skip it.
Throw money at it.
Money, money.
Freddie's going to do the Castle Ball hint, and we know this is Path of the Void. So let's see who's waiting for us here. Alright, who is it? Oh, that's an easy one to find, too.
I think Garlyle. I think we saw it on Garlyle's side already.
Did he already do it? Okay, maybe he did.
Or was it Freddeh who saw it earlier?
They
both picked it. Okay. So Sergeant is
Mega Flare.
Yeah, that's literally overkill. Like,
yeah,
you don't need that.
Just a bit.
You can just target the Sergeant, who is actually Iron Claw, and just kill it, and the wolves would just escape. Like, you didn't really need to use Bahamut, but yeah, that was faster. And no,
Freddeh did not save the animals.
It was golden. So Bal Castle or Path of the Void means it's actually Odin's spot.
Yep. So yeah, Bal Castle can refer to both of those. So Odin's spot, which is in World 3. So we'll have to make sure, hopefully, Freddeh remembers, A, that is considered Bal Castle still, and doesn't forget about it. Alright, so here, immersing Garlyle right behind. Let's hope he realizes the same thing too, which, I mean, he kind of has to realize. If it just gives you Golem, you're going to go, oh, that's nothing.
And that's a Dancing Dagger and Hero's Song. Nice.
Hero's Song is a good pickup just in case, but I think we've already, yeah. We can see Garlyle already has Chemist, but always another pickup just in case.
Well, depending on your setup, Hero's Song can set your levels up faster. Like, especially if you find Speed Song.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they both do the same thing, but yeah, exactly like I said, depending on your setup, one could be better than the other. Garlyle is saving the animals, though. So for those of you save the animal, kill the animals fans, you got your split. And Freddie's going back into the void. He is picking up... Okay, he's not going to pick up time 6.
Kuza, not the void.
Kuza, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, X magic here. If you combine X magic with summon 5, you will be able to cast 2 summons per turn if you have the MP. So you can expect double Leviathan or double Bahamut. That's going to be really huge damage output really early on.
Everybody passing on that flame or that rune axe, which is sad. Rune axe is one of my favorite items because one of my favorite setups in this randomizer is a barbarian with rune axe and a thornlet causes his MP to underflow, so he does extremely large amounts of damage. But it's kind of a very hard setup to get.
Yeah, by underflowing your magic stat, you do a lot of damage. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it treats your MP as being like 999 as far as for the rune axe damage.
Your MP or your magic stat?
I always forget how it actually works. I'm not.
It's more like the magic stat.
Oh, is it based off the? Okay, so yeah, it underflows it. That's all I know. For Ouroboros, thankfully, Garlyle also throws money at the problem, and it goes away.
If you run a seed with, status weapons or spell weapons, you can also use a similar setup with flare axes. So underflowing your berserkers.
There's our Elder Branch.
Oh, we have the Elder Branch.
And they're both at the same spot. They are both at Moogle Waterway right away.
Yeah, so we knew it was Path of the Void. That's because we need the Elder Branch to do more forest, and we need to do more forest to do Fog Tower. So, yep. At least we have it early on. So, at least we have that going for us. That's nice.
Yeah. It's good to know that you've got the Elder Branch out of the way, so that you're not hunting for it too much. Interesting to see how Freddeh handles this, because he does not have...
He has Mute Sword.
Yeah, that's still going to take a while, though, if he has to Mute Sword everybody down. And doesn't just... I mean, he has Bahamut. I'm surprised he just doesn't Bahamut them all down. But unfortunately, that Berserker kind of goofed it up.
Yeah, that's one of the fights you don't want to get a Berserker.
Yeah.
Because, well, if you cannot control your character, you can't make so all Pyrobolts are killed at the same time, and if they don't get killed at the same time, hey, they revive their partners. So
then you're in this scenario.
Yeah, and there are only two ways to still win. It's if you use Mute Sword, because they can't revive their partners if they're mute or berserked, or just fight. Yeah, or you can just fight until they're out of MPs.
Yes, I promise the seed is randomized, even though we are getting Ifrit at Ifrit's spot. I promise it's randomized, guys. It's just very funny that we've gotten 2 vanilla bosses so far.
Hey, it can drop the Ifrit's fire.
Yes. Oh, if it drops Ifrit's fire, I would laugh too hard.
No, too bad.
Just another shoot. And a bracelet,
and bracelet. And bracelet. That's whole Path of the Void.
Yep, there is our Path of the Void that we were looking for out of there. So now you probably... So here's the question. You found the bracelet there. Do you still check the Ifrit spot or the Biblos fight after you find the Ifrit? Or do you just go, okay, this must have been the Path of the Void item I was talking about, and you just don't go back and look?
Personally, I would go back there only if I run out of Path of the Void checks.
Okay. I'm kind of on the same path. I think I would just say, okay, this must have been what I was talking about. The chances of it being 2 Path of the Voids in the same location is pretty rare. So, Freddeh takes care of him this time really quickly, just with a quick
just Guild Toss.
No, he Bahamuted him down. He summoned a bigger dragon.
Oh, I thought it was Guild Toss.
I think it was Bahamut. I think he Bahamuted him down. Either way, they all died at the same time. Much easier fight for him this time, and he's going to get his Elder Branch as well. Garlyle is just going to take care of all the... It looks like he is... Hey, there's Antlion and a Meteor waiting for him.
So, Antlion, well, it's an easy fight, but you don't like to see him for the sole reason that he doesn't give any XP at the end of the fight because he just runs away.
There is, unless you can one-shot him, like just do so much damage that you actually kill him. He doesn't give me an XP like Rom said, so, and there he runs away. But which is unfortunate because the meteors are a really good spot for a lot of extra experience too. So it's always unfortunate when you see a boss like that that's going to run away. Meanwhile, Freddeh one-shotting the T-Rex. I believe also.
Send one bait. That is nice because we know that Desert of Shifting Sand is on the Path of the Void, and we can now check that. It's an easy check. There's no reason to not go there like right away.
Yep, that is you might as well go check it. Like exactly like you said, Rom. A very easy fight. You know it's on the Path of the Void. Just get it out of the way before you forget. Sandworm's not normally a check we do too often, so I would get it out of the way so I don't forget.
Commentator's cuss?
Yeah, I've done that already. So I've already made one person's laptop just crash just by talking about what could go wrong. So I have to be very careful. Apparently, I have a power that I did not know I have.
But like, Freddeh, that's not the desert and that's not the sandworm. Don't use the bait on the ant lion. That's not the right beast.
Meanwhile, Garlyle's gonna go do Moa Forest. Was it Garlyle that I jinxed? Oh man, now I really gotta be careful. I have to be very careful. I did not know I have this kind of capabilities.
Nah, don't worry.
It couldn't happen twice, right?
No, non-bis in it. It cannot happen twice the same.
Alright, let's see. So yeah, Garlyle's heading into Moa Forest, so he's heading in there really quick. Meanwhile, Freddie's gonna go do the steamship, but not doing the sandworm bait unless he just hasn't gotten that hint yet. I'm not sure.
I may have not. I think he saw the hint.
Hope so. This is why, boys and girls, you write down your hints. You always write down all of your hints so you don't forget them. Dancer Crystal picked up. We've got a chicken knife.
Yeah, we also have two-handed with Assassin Dagger, Dancing Dagger, so we can set up a good dancer that can do big damage. And I love the dancer strat. I love to see character dancing and wrecking your opponent by dancing.
Yeah, Vaughn, I don't know if we have a dance item here yet. I don't think I've seen a tiara or rainbow vest or red shoes just yet, but normally it's not too hard to find one of those items to really bump up your sword dance chances.
So yeah, without one of those equipment, you will have a chance to do Tempting Tango, which tries to charm your opponent, but that's not really useful. And with this equipment, you remove the chances of doing Tempting Tango, and instead you had one more slot for Sword Dance. And the steamship leads to Walls Tower.
Yep, hi Greg, bye Greg. Unfortunately... Oh, hey, look, there's another Greg. He went from one location to another. So what Greg was it that was at Steamship? Was that 1, 2, or 4? Do we know?
That was 1. And that's
one?
X-Zone. X-Zone is a really powerful spell, which we can use because we have Time Mage and Time 6. It's basically an instant kill move if your opponent isn't heavy.
Yep.
So non-heavy opponent, X-Zone, goodbye. Unless you just fail, because you can still fail a spell if you're like under level or such, or high magic evade.
And like we said, there's quite a few bosses that are weak to, or that are not heavy that you can just instantly kill. So finding stuff like that is always big pickups. Your break blades, your X-Zones, your slashes, your Odins, things like that.
And we have also like good loot. We found Giant's Glove. Here we found Dark Matter. Dark Matter is useful because you can use it with the mix command for some really useful actions. Like if you combine it with a Phoenix Down, it's Death Potion.
Yep,
another way to instantly kill an opponent. And we have found the Black Mage.
Yeah, and Death Potion can actually affect some bosses that normally some other methods wouldn't be able to as well, if I remember correctly.
Like, you find Necrophobe, you have trouble killing the buyers, you can Death Potion the buyers.
Yes. Oh, found a Dragoon Spear. That is the strongest spear in the game. And you've already got Dragoon Job. I would not be surprised if you equip that pretty quickly as well, because a Dragoon with Jump does a lot of damage with that. Hey, there's Timmy waiting for us at the end of the castle.
I'm glad we found the Atom Time Eye on such an easy spot, because it has an auto armor and auto shell. It can be like hard to kill, so it's good to find it on such an easy spot.
Yeah, Timmy at like the Path of the Void can be quite the train to try to deal with, so always better to see him early than later. Alright, so now he's going to go do Sandworm, so he is now going to get his item that we've been waiting for. Yeah, there has been quite a few Wizard Rods to see, a lot more than we normally expect to see, and unfortunately, not too many people that can use it.
Hey, we actually stole a green beret from Enkidu.
that mug coming through. And then who in the desert did we find? A crab who instantly dies.
And welcome Raiders from SpeedGaming 2.
There was our anti-barrier. So, yep, welcome everybody. We are in the losers bracket of the first annual career Final Fantasy V Career Day 1.0 release tournament. So we have our runners Freddeh and Garlyle, who are both racing to stay alive in this tournament. And this is actually a run back from a previous match that had happened earlier in the bracket. So there's a little bit of stories going on here, but yeah, Freddeh has both his anti-barrier and now his... Oh, he does not have the bracelet just yet, so Garlyle has the bracelet. Freddeh has the anti-barrier.
He's going to get it right there on this boss. So bracelet alone isn't useful because you cannot access Exodus Castle anyway, but Freddeh will have both items and will be able to instantly do all checks in Exodus Castle. And
Yes,
that's something funny. So Garlyle got the vanilla Ifrit fight, and Freddeh actually got a back attack on Ifrit.
interesting.
Because yes, bosses can back attack you.
Yeah, you don't see that too often, though. It's always funny seeing the boss in like a different spot than they normally should be. You're like, oh, that's weird.
So yeah, there's been a little mistake about the title. It's the loser bracket, not winners, but
Yeah.
that's not serious.
Yep. So yeah, it does say, like Rom said, it does say winners bracket finals, but this is the losers bracket semifinals. So, yeah, just a small thing, no biggie. We can work through it. But so now Freddeh does have both pieces that he needs to go into the castle or Excess Castle, which, like we were talking about earlier, you need to go into Excess Castle and defeat Exdeath to unlock a World 3. So when we start the randomizer off in the current race seeds that we have, you do start off with Worlds 1 and 2 unlocked, just because that does allow you to go to the sealed castle early with your one starting tablet, and also just get a few more hints where otherwise normally I believe in World 1 there is only, what is it, 5 hints in World 1, 5 hints in World 2? Let's see, Paul. Yeah, I think 5 and 5. So instead of just getting 5 hints to start off with, you actually now get like 10 hints to start off with. Yes, this is semifinals of the lower bracket, Vaughn. Yep, you are correct. But now we've got Freddeh going back. He is doing his move for us because he knows he needs to get Cryo, and we do know we have a hint that said that Fork Tower is on the path of the void. So you might as well get it done now so that you can make quick work of... You can kind of get right on top of those checks when you do defeat Exdeath. Now, Exdeath, we have not found anything super... Like, we've not found Holy, and we've not found, like, a White Lance or anything that does Holy damage to take down Exdeath really quickly. But we do have Dancer with Sword Dagger, or with Chicken Knife and Sword Dance. Can make pretty quick work of him if you're lucky. So... Yeah,
No,
there does look like there's some confusion on the bracket, but...
It's a semifinal. The winner of this match will face the loser of the winners semifinals, the winners final, which is actually tomorrow. What? No, it's not tomorrow. It should be in 2 days. Well, anyway.
Yeah. All we know is the race that I have here in front of me is the race that I'm worried about right now because, well, I got out of the race really early. I went out 0-2, so I've been having lots of fun watching all the amazing runners that we have for this community, which our community is still pretty small right now, so we had just 16 people this time. And thank you, Zelfer, for the raid as well. We had 16 runners this time. Hopefully next time we can get more. This is an amazing randomizer. If you're somebody who really likes having it's kind of a little bit more of a difficult randomizer just because you do have a lot of different scenarios you kind of have to work through with like, okay, I've got this boss and I've got this set of abilities and these jobs, how am I going to take down this boss? So that's one of the amazing things about this randomizer. But the other thing is just like you have all these different decisions you have to make about your party going into different spots. Like, okay, is a dancer with chicken knife and this gonna be better in this spot, or maybe I should have this person being my time mage with haste in this spot. So you get a lot of these really in-depth decisions with each kind of party that you want to build, which I feel like make this randomizer so unique. Yeah, and Kidu unfortunately shows up and then gets X-zoned right away. There's Greg 3 for Freddie. Yeah, four job career day randomizer races. Yeah, that makes things, that's hard mode right there, because then you're really having to think about how everything works. So I have not attempted one of those, just because my knowledge of the game is not that great. But four job randomizer would be a new level of difficulty.
We actually recently had what we call a seed of the week that was based around 4 jobs.
How did that go? Because I did not do that one, because I saw that's what it was, and I was just like, oh, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to get into this one very far at all.
I think they were putting mages in the front row. You know, like, hey, you can do things with mages.
Yeah. Yeah, like the mages, and surprisingly, we don't see a lot of mage used in the randomizer as much. I mean, you see like time mage and summoner, but you don't see black mage used as much. Mainly just because for some reason you don't find the job too often. Normally by the time you find it, it's midway through the randomizer and you're just like, all right, well, it's not going to be hugely useful here. Most parties do tend to be pretty physical damage based until you get to Ted and Ned. And then generally what you'll see a lot of people do is Chemist Gill Toss is kind of the standard way. You'll see a lot of our runners do it just because it's very consistent, it's very fast, and fairly easy to set up. And you'll see that in this race today when we get to the final boss, that strategy in play. So I know a lot of people will say, and like for a while there I was saying, oh yeah, that's going to make all the races feel fairly the same. But what you'll notice is that you only tend to really have enough gil to use that strategy just for that very last boss fight. Whereas the remainder of the time, you kind of have to use other strategies to get through it. And we are working on getting the overlay fixed with the correct race this is. So that's why if you're seeing the black background, don't worry, it'll be back. We're just working on fixing the overlay.
Yeah, so right now, both runners did like the same items, not in the same order, but they all did the same checks. They all have the necessary items, like they did Sandbomb. They have both bracelets and anti-barrier. They went to More Forest to get Cryle and get ready for October. So right now, their priority for both of them is to get into X's castle. So Garlyle is already in there. Freddeh just entered it. So we're going to see soon the X-Death fight.
And I will say this seed gave us enough hints to really keep both of the runners kind of fairly close to each other with finding their bracelet, finding their anti-barrier. So there wasn't too much derivation. Where I expect to see quite a lot of derivation is possibly... So we know Fork Tower is going to give us a tablet.
Oh.
But we don't know where our last tablet is, and that's generally what a lot of these races tend to come down to, is who makes the right check to find that last tablet to put them in go mode before the other.
So there's a rainbow suit in X's castle, and that's really nice for your dancer.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do a lot of the mage with two-handed dancer doing sword dances.
Did you just find a second rainbow suit, or was that the same one? I'm guessing
it's the same one.
Okay. I was just like, wow, is there 2 rainbow suits in here? But no. And I think you'd only realistically only ever use one dancer, just because 2 dancers, the damage is a little too randomized, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you prefer to have like more support on the side.
And even then, you normally only have 1 chicken knife, so it's not like they're going to be doing nearly as the extra damage.
I mean, you could also use, like, if you don't have 2-handed, you can use Equip X equipment.
Stolen elixir off of X Death.
Like, if you have Brave Blade or Holy Lens, you can just use Equip Sword or Equip Spears on your Dancer, and that's going to do a lot of damage. Like, Soul Dance with Holy Spear has the potential to do quad 9 to X-Death.
Yes, so there is a chance that a tablet could be hiding on one of these X-Death Castle bosses. But like Fiery Blizzard said, I'm wondering if they are betting that possibly Fork Tower both could have 2 tablets or 2 key items, which would be really unique. Yeah, it is kind of surprising because most of the time the runners will try to clear all those fights out just because A, gives them a lot of extra experience, and B, you really don't want to have to double dip into X-Death's Castle because that's going to feel really bad. Equip Yoichibo dancing is fun too. Yeah, pretty much anything equip dancer with X strong level item is good.
You can also combine Sword Dancing with Sword Magic. Like, you can, if you want, do Flare Sword and then do Sword Dance.
Yes, that can happen, yep. So like Kira is saying, yes, we do know that Ball Castle at the Odin check is still on the Path of the Void as well. So, you probably know, unless Fork Tower leads you to... no, so yeah, Fork Tower either has a tablet or is going to lead you to some other key item, and Ball Castle is probably going to be on a different route because you've already got Fork Tower unlocked. So that's probably why the runners feel comfortable in not doing these X-Death fights. That's an excellent point. And here's where you can see kind of how the hint system can really either put you on the right track for where you need to be, because this, like we've said, this randomizer can be a little bit longer. We have gotten most of the seeds down to around 2.5 hours, but they can sometimes go a little bit longer. But it keeps it low. And we've kind of but you can also get sometimes where the hints can be very ambiguous. And if one runner interprets the hint one way, that is the correct way, and the other runner interprets the hint a different way, and they go a different direction, then it can actually be what causes the difference there too.
Like, for instance, if you get Path of the Void Wolf's Tower, and you wait until you get Wolf's Tower key to check it, and nope, it was actually Sunken Wolf's Tower in Wolf 3, well, that's a 50-50, and you might lose the race because of that. That's an example of interpreting a hint one way or the other.
Another example of that, and I've seen this one come up, so for example, if the Ball Castle Abductor fight had a key item, but also the Odin had a key item, then you're like, oh, okay, well, what one is it referring to? And it says Ball Castle's on Path of the Void. And you have to make that decision.
Also, yes, that was Mystic Knight on Carbon Co.
Good pickup, boys, find.
But I don't think we have Holy Sword. Holy Sword would make X-Death fight really easier, but we don't have it.
Nope, I think we're just seeing Garlyle. Just do it kind of the old-fashioned way. We don't have Holy Sphere. We don't have Holy Blade or White or Holy. Hey, there's Go-Go. So Freddie's going to sit his control down for 5 minutes, and he's just actually going to reset out of it.
Yeah, I think it's because he has the Berserker, and you don't want the Berserker to attack Go-Go, because after the second time you attack him, Go-Go will be, oh, well, I'm not going to mimic you anymore, and he's just going to meteor you to death.
Go-Go says, oh, you want to play it that way? Okay, we can play it that way. Yeah, you do not want to hit Go-Go in certain spots. Like, if you can one-shot him, yeah, do it, because it's going to be a lot quicker. But otherwise, just take the time.
You have to be 100% sure to kill Go-Go before the second counter-attack. If you can't, don't try. You will just get death.
Interesting. Freddie's resitting out of it again, so I'm wondering if he's deciding, oh, did he forget to take Berserk off? Okay, I was like, did he forget Berserk? Or... This is unfortunately kind of eating up a lot of time for Freddie, because we can see Garlyle just might get ahead because he just didn't do any of those checks. Let's see where Garlyle heads off to.
Did he beat X-Death?
Yes, he's in World 3 right now.
Oh, well. So that's a small advantage, because Freddeh actually did the X-Death Castle bosses. He did Carbon Core, he's doing the Gilgamesh 4 spot. Garlyle skipped all of those.
Yeah, And I think it's like what Akir said. We know that Odin has a key item that we need is on Path of the Void, and we know Fork Tower's on Path of the Void. So, and you need 2 more key items left. So
Yeah, even if it's not those missing tablets directly, it's an item that leads to those tablets. Like those are the 2 last chains you need. And it cannot be for the same chain because we already have the submarine, and that would be the only way that 2 chains merge in one single chain. So, we're basically in no mode where to look for next progression items.
Yep. Yeah, I think exactly. Garlyle he knows the path he needs to be on. He just needs to physically do it now. So I definitely would put Garlyle in the advantage here. And unfortunately, it's just because Freddeh, like you said, he decided to do these bosses. That's just putting him a little bit behind. Yep, he's heading right over to Odin right now. So Garlyle's going to go find out what's in there. He doesn't want to forget about it. Odin check is easily forgotten about because it doesn't require a key item, so it's not on your tracker and you just kind of forget about it. So he is going to take care of it right now.
Vaughn, I don't think there's any item that would be worth doing the bosses for, because we already have the samurai, so we already have Kiltos, and we already have the chemist, which means we already have mix. So basically, you don't need anything else.
Yeah, I mean, Moogle Suit or Mirage might be worth it, but at this point, when you know your opponent probably is at the same speed you are, because the hints kind of directed you in this way, I don't think I would risk it.
We also have the Knight and the Mimic, which means we have a job that gives you more HP, and you have Mimic, which can equip multiple commands, so you have your endgame job. Like, the only thing better than the Mimic would be the Freelancer, but, if we don't find it, it's fine, we have the Mimic. We already have everything we need for the end game. And that's Minotaur.
Not who you want to see there, because he is going to hit like a truck.
So he's going to hit you hard, but also, you know that once you beat him, one of your remaining characters is dead because he will use Holy.
Yep.
So if you beat him and you only have one character left, well, you lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Go-Go does give you a bunch of AP. He does not give you experience, but he gives you a bunch of AP. So if you are trying to like turbo level a job, there is that option there for you.
And it's actually vanilla that he gives you a lot of AP in vanilla as well.
Yeah, so in vanilla, I think he gives you 50 AP, like Vaughn did say, or I'm sorry, yeah, like Vaughn did say, it is 4 times the reward. So, but even vanilla, 50 AP in that game was quite a bit. So, did Garlyle beat Minotaur, or did he move on?
No, he reset. So that's a change of plan. Well, I can't beat Minotaur right now. It's okay, I have another chain I can explore, so I'm going to do Fork Tower first. Well, what can possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Says everybody always as they go into Fork Tower. We have not seen Omniscient. We have not seen Stalkers. We have not seen the triplets.
You get XP from Go-Go only if you kill him.
Yeah, it's only if you actually kill Go-Go do you get that XP. Otherwise, you're just going to get the ABP for doing the Mimic thing.
Stalker, oh no, don't give such bad luck to our runners. We don't want to see Stalker here in Fork Tower.
Oh, Stalkers truly is the worst boss in this game. Vanilla Omniscient wouldn't be bad because we have Mute Blade. So we'd actually be a free boss.
Yeah, we can use Mute Blade or we can just spam Magic. We have what we need to spam Magic here. We have X-Magic Bahamut, X-Magic Leviathan, and we have Mute Blade if we want to actually get it free.
We've seen Bahamut.
Yeah, no, Stalker would be the worst to see. Like Stalker or Bahamut would be the worst bosses.
Yeah, no, you're right. We have not seen Bahamut, so triplets would be fairly easily because you have Guild Toss. Stalker, you have Guild Toss, but I don't think you could survive the flames that they're going to cast afterwards. I'm trying to think. Necrophobia wouldn't be too bad here.
I mean, Stalker could also be easy with Sleep Sword, but, you know, that's still horrible.
Meanwhile, Freddeh is now taking on X-Death, so he should be probably making pretty quick work of this as well.
The setup looks good to me right now. I think he got one Dynamo.
There you can mix up Ice Absorb, yes, so that is some Galaxy Brain level, he's getting some good sword dances off. That is some Galaxy Brain level stuff, if you know to do that and remember to do that. Man, he's getting some good sword dances off. 2 straight sword dances from your dancer.
And the first boss, yeah, Melgin or Melzin, depending on the translation. So Melzin will start off with a weakness to fire, and then she will change her weakness with fire change. That's one of the classical Final Fantasy bosses. You have one of these in every game. In Final Fantasy 3, it's fine.
Yep, it is. It's pretty easily. She's not the worst one that you want to see. So that's a quick and easy takedown. Freddeh did get the X-Death down, so he is probably on his way to the same spots that Garlyle is, because he knows he has the same hints and everything he has to do. I did not see who was our second boss waiting for us at the other side of Fork Tower, because I see Garlyle has... or did we not even get through Marigine? I missed that. Okay, Garlyle reset out on the first boss. Okay. So let's see where Freddeh is going to head off to. Is he going to be right behind going to the Fork Tower? Got reset. Okay. I was going to say, I don't think I missed it, but I looked away for a second because I'll low-key drop. I opened up the tablet to go look at some of the SpeedGaming merch, and I think I kind of want to get a Link to the Past randomizer shirt now. So sorry about that, everyone. I kind of looked away for just a quick second, but like they are saying, they do have some of the Teespring shirts are really cool, so if you want to support SpeedGaming, please go check them out. I know I was, and I'm probably going to get one now. But let's see. Okay, hopefully he can get through Marigine this time, and we can see who is waiting for us. And we can also find out which one of them has our key item. All right. So Freddeh is going to go take on Odin, so he is going to see Minotaur right here too. He is probably going to reset out. Yep, I knew it. So now he is going to go over to Fork Tower. He's going to go over to Fork Tower, who's going to see who is there. And our runners are pretty close, and we saw this last time as well on one of our past races where the Fork Tower really, unfortunately, just swung who was in the lead on the race just because we had one bad... Freddeh does have throw and the assassin. Oh, you are right, Alistair. Let's see if he remembers that trick. So the first time we saw this on stream, it blew, I forgot who my co-commentator was, but it blew our mind that this is one of the few tricks that you have that you can instant kill Minotaur. If you have the assassin's dagger and you throw it, it instantly kills the Minotaur. So this could be huge for Freddeh. So fingers crossed he knows that. He knows it for sure, Vaughn's saying? Okay, so then that's probably why he's resetting and just going back in right now. But yeah, Smoker, that is the exact same response I had the first time I saw it. Did he take the Assassin's Dagger? That's the good question. I don't know. But I would think if he's going right back into it, he has to have. Now you just gotta hope the person who has throw doesn't die instantaneously. He does, he has the throw. And let's see if he has the Assassin's Dagger. He does, he has the Assassin's Dagger. So watch this. He is gonna do the damage. He doesn't even cast Holy. It one-shots him, and it doesn't even trigger that prompt.
And that's all tablets, directly. How nice.
So, yeah. So now, Freddeh knows he just has to go to Fork Tower and take care of it. And meanwhile, I don't know if Garlyle has what he has to have to take care of this. Yeah, exactly like like Arashi said in the chat. He is instantly scripted to die if you throw just the Assassin's Dagger. That is the only dagger that does that. So, if that is the trick that puts Freddeh super far ahead, why is Freddeh going to a Comet, though? He knows his Fork Tower is on the path of the Void. What is he doing? So confused.
Maybe he wants XP.
It has to be, right? Like, that's the only thing I could think of.
Did I see the Are You Cool? in Fog Tower.
Did we see the what?
The Heyu Call.
I missed it. I didn't see. So he's obviously gotten through both bosses, I think, right?
Yeah, you need to kill the second boss, but if you get 2...
Yes, it looks like Hiryu Call was picked up there along with... Okay, so now we're going to find out what the... Biblos, this is fairly easy.
So if you get
Do you
2...
have Ifrit? Oh, no.
If you get 2 items in Fog Tower,
It's interesting.
You don't know which one is going to be your required item. So
Yes.
yeah, we could have another 50-50 branch decision.
Fingers crossed it's another key items, everybody, so we can really see some craziness in trying to figure out where our last tablet is. Because Garlyle knows Minotaur has a tablet. Because he knows that it has to be on the Path of the Void. So yeah, I'm glad we got to be on the main page for this race, because this race is turning to be quite exciting. If this last key item on Biblos, or if this last item on Biblos turns out to be another key item, this could get really exciting. He gets the condemn off, so he is just going to wait the time out and just deal with 30 seconds. Yep, we are seeing some condemn strats. Get your poggers out. And he has enough health that he can live through this. He's got the big guard up, so he should have no problem just waiting it out. Yeah, and you can see he's just gonna sit there. Freddeh...
Well, you kinda have to heal.
Only Freddeh has Deathclaw.
You kinda have to heal if you don't want to die from the wind slashes.
He's living through it and he hasn't done anything. Yeah, there it is. Alright, let's fingers crossed, everybody. Is this gonna be another key item to really throw a loop into this?
No. No final load.
Okay.
But a ribbon is still nice.
Ribbon's nice for your dancer. Okay, so now he knows that he has to go right away over to that Hiryu Call. And he also knows that he needs to go still do Odin, though.
So yes, our next step is Zero Split. And we know Odin Spot has the 3rd tablet, so it's going to be really fast.
Yep. It's all going to come down to how quickly can Freddeh get done. I put Freddeh slightly in the lead right now, just because that instance death, but if he gets hung up on the Fork Tower, that can very much put it back in Garlyle's favor if he can get the Minotaur down. But I don't know if Garlyle knows about the Assassin's Dagger throw strategy.
I mean, it can be like a page on Zero Split.
It could, yep.
Yeah, it can be a longer chain. You never know.
You're exactly right, yeah.
Yeah, you just have, let the fun durate more. It can't end that quickly.
Yeah, because you could get a page that could then lead you to like the big bridge key that could be just an extremely long chain. Just because you know this chain you're on is on to get your tablet, you don't know how long this chain is going to be.
Oh, also, that's right, from Valn. Assassin's Dagger was in Kusa Castle, and Garlyle might be looking for the tablet here to pick it up, to get an easy Minotaur, because Freddeh picked up the Assassin's Dagger earlier, while Garlyle didn't.
I wonder if Freddeh picked that up just in case, he's like, I know I have throw, just in case I run into Minotaur anywhere, it's an instant kill. Which, that would be a pretty 5-head move, if that's what it is. I kind of want to ask him about that. Because that would make, like, Assassin's Dagger, it's like, yeah, is it something you snap pick up the first time you see it? No, but, like, on tablets 2 or 3, maybe you do pick it up in case you have throw, and he finds the Blue Mage job, but we already think have the Blue Mage ability, if I remember correctly. Alright, let's see how Freddeh handles this. He's going to run into Marigine first. Meanwhile, Garlyle taking on the Liquid Flame at the castle. Now, Liquid Flame, in every form but the hand form, is instant killable. He's not heavy, but I don't know if Garlyle has any way to instantly kill him. that Marigine hit hard onto Freddeh. Yep, he's gonna have to refresh out.
And this is one reset. One.
Yep. Yeah, this is what's gonna come down to Freddeh. This is still a very, very close race right now. We're gonna condemn strats again. And that, yeah, exactly like Father Elizabeth said, yeah, you can condemn Liquid Flame. So he is going to wait out these seconds and just try to heal through the damage. He's got Big Guard up to make it a little bit easier. Meanwhile, Freddeh reorganizing his team to take on that Marigine. Hopefully he's going to run into Biblos and be like, oh, this is much easier now. And he has Blue Magic as well, so you know he has Condemn.
Also, I think you cannot use it when he is on his hand form.
Yes.
Because his hand form is considered heavy, so you cannot instantly kill it.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those where, like, for some reason they decided to give one of his phases heavy, but not to the remainder. It's really weird. Yeah, it is, like Dry says, it is a bit slower. Ideally, you would have other ways to deal with it, but when you're in a pinch, you know.
Also, yes, if the target has hast, the Condemn counter goes down faster.
Yep.
And, well, that's a really quick seed.
There's second tablet. So, he knows. So Garlyle knows he needs to go right away to Odin's castle to get that third tablet. Freddeh knows he needs to finish up this tower and then get the he'll find his hero call, go to the Zeza Flight and get his second tablet. So this is a race still. Unfortunately, I think Minotaur favors. I think this favors Garlyle a little bit more, just because obviously Fork Tower is the harder of the two checks. Yeah. See, he's going back into Garlyle's going back into the sealed castle, so I bet you he's going to pick up that Assassin's Dagger right now. He does not have Assassin's Dagger now, but he will in a second. So what will they need to do from here? So once they have all 4 tablets, they are going to go into World 3, and they are going to go into the Void. So the Void, think of the Void as our kind of our boss gauntlet. There is, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bosses in the Void, Rom, before Ted?
I think so.
It's either 6 or 5.
So
5 through 7.
There's Calofistery Spot, Appenda Spot.
Yep.
Apocalypse Spot, also called Azumagia, Catastrophe, Helicanaso, Twintania, that's 6. And then you can also have a Necrophobe Spot if you want the safe spot in the actual Void. So
yeah, 5 required.
7.
5 required. 6 is the standard because you want the Apocalypse safe spot. Otherwise, you have a long run if you need to go back and heal. And then 7 is if you want to get the Necrophobia spot, but that one is not used as often. Normally, that's a, oops, I forgot something. I need to run out and go do some buying.
Yeah, it's if you need the portal.
Yep, I missed it. Garlyle, go and pick up the Assassin's Dagger for anybody who caught it. I assume he must have. He did, okay. So he is going to run down to the basement. He's going to throw that dagger at the Minotaur and make quick work of him.
I mean, if he didn't, that would be a really 3-head move.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. That would be one of those moments where you could tell then he probably just either forgot about the strat or doesn't know about it, because if you have it set up, there's no reason not to do it. So let's find out. Meanwhile, Freddeh taking another crack at this Fork Tower, so he's going to be going on to the Marigine fight first. And unfortunately, his lead person dies right away to an attack. But hopefully he'll be able to recover.
That's going to be tough right now.
Yeah.
He's dead. That's our second reset, I think.
Yep. Meanwhile, okay, so Garlyle has found his Assassin's Dagger, so he should be throwing that now. So Fang is going to throw that Assassin's Dagger and kill off that. So Garlyle is officially in go mode now. So he is going to be making his way right away to the Void. We did not see. Wow, we did not. This was a pretty quick seed. We have not seen. This is gonna be a sub 2 hour seed.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of the 4 big temples.
Nope.
And we are actually skipping the high tier locations like no Mughal Village, no Mirage Radar, no Trench, etc.
Yeah, this is gonna be. There could be some rough bosses waiting here in the Void. He's gonna do a quick save and probably change some party around a little bit for Garlyle. But yeah, this could be a sub 2 hour seed unless we get a really rough Void, which is a great time for this randomizer. Sub 2 hours is like either a very, very jet seed or you're on top of your game today. So you're gonna see Garlyle is probably gonna sell off just about everything because he wants to get to the golden number so that he can Samson's power through Chemist up his level to high enough level. I think normally most people go to max level, but there's some math you can do to find out this. I think the most optional level is actually like level 82. And he's gonna be selling everything off so he has enough gil so that he can gil toss down Ted and Ned. And here he goes into the Void for Garlyle. So he's going to get some 4 early quick chests that are going to have high level gear in them, so we'll get to see what he gets out of that. Meanwhile, Freddeh unfortunately had to reset again.
Yeah, the thing is, Freddeh loses even more time because he opens all the chests each time he climbs up. I mean, there's the blue mage, but yeah, you lose a lot of time.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is kind of similar to what we saw happen, I think, last week, where the Fork Tower it just was fairly manageable for one runner, but it's giving another runner a very rough go of it, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. How long do seeds run? So, the average seed, if you're experienced and you've been running for this a while, 2 to 2.5 hours is a good time. Sub 2 hours is a really good time. I think our current record is like what? 125-ish, 130-ish. If you're just learning it out, you're probably going to be closer to the 3.5 hour seed. But because we start off with one tablet already, yeah, an average race time you'll see is probably going to be between 2 to 3 hours, averaging about 2.5. Yes, please join us. I'll enter the command in chat. This will take you to both our Discord as well as to the bracket for this race. The more info for that Big Bridge Studio link, that will take you to actually where you can generate a seed. It also has a link to the Wikipedia, which has a lot of great information on it, as well as a link to our Discord. Although I believe our Discord actually now is listed on the command too. So come join us. We're a small but growing community. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of runners who will just pop into other Career Day runners' streams that they see and offer assistance if they need it. We have a lot of extremely knowledgeable people that are really, really nice and will answer just about any question you have. If you've got a team that looks like this and this, wow, Freddeh just Firestorm through his one-shots are okay.
Well, Freddeh really wanted Merging there because he part up 3 characters and Fire 3 Sword that did a lot of damage. But now that means for the second boss, he has a single party member.
I think he should be okay though, because it's just Biblos, and he has Fire 3 Sword.
Yeah, he is really lucky.
Yeah, I kind of came out lucky for him.
I mean, without protection, Windslash can be... Oh, no, never mind. Biblos not being heavy means Fire 3 Sword instantly kills it.
Yeah. Yep, that is a bad time if you're Biblos. And Freddie's got to be like, breathe a big sigh of relief. I bet he still feels like he might be behind, knowing that he wiped a few times on this, and that the seed was pretty direct on where you need to go for everything. So he's still probably feeling the crunch right now. But we'll have to see. Maybe he can make it up in the void, because Garlyle's not too far into the void just yet. So now, Freddeh is now officially in go mode because he did get his second tablet from the Fork Tower, and he has the other tablet from the Minotaur fight. So Freddeh is now in go mode.
He got how you call.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Hey,
I forgot it was there.
He still needs to go to Zezo's fleet to get his second tablet.
You're right. I got ahead of myself. I apologize, everybody. We see Garlyle going through the forest section of the void. He's probably going to be picking up all those chests because all these chests are going to have very high level items in it. And he is going to run into who's waiting for us here at this spot.
I mean, that is still go mode. That's still go mode, but well, it's not already done. Yes, we have seen the pyrobolts.
Yep, Pyros has been down. The only bad things we have not seen, we haven't seen Necro, we haven't seen, we've seen Helicaranos already, so we know she's not here. We have not seen Twintania, so Vanilla Twintania could be scary.
No, because we have Exone. Like,
oh, that's right, yeah, we do have Exone. We just gotta survive long enough.
Yeah, just survive and insta-kill when she's
Stalker.
in the Giga Flare phase.
Stalker would be the bad one to find. That would be the worst one, probably.
Stalker, Bahamut, Necrophobe, Catastrophe.
Yes, oh, you're right. But we have Float. So we have a way to cheese Catastrophe. So we do at least have that. Freddie's heading right over there to Zezafleet, like I'd imagine. Omni would be annoying, but we also do have the Bahamut Blade, or the Meat Blade, so I don't think it'd be that bad. Shoat would actually be nasty.
Bahamut Blade. Whoa. That would be broken.
Yup. That would not be fun. I think Shoat would be another nasty one to run into in here. Now I think about it, like, now that Shoat... A Bahamut Blade? Oh. Yeah, so we have not shown this off on stream, but there is an additional randomizer setting that you can do on the website where it can basically add spells to weapons. So you could get a sword that when you swing the sword, it casts life, or it casts cure, or it casts flare, or some of the other stuff. So that is another fun thing you can do on the randomizer. It tends to make seats very wild. That's why we kind of leave it off in like tournament settings, because things just go really off the rails with it, but it is there if you want a really wild time. I think he's going to make quick work of this Arcavus. I don't think it's going to be too much concern. Has the X fight going on the two-handed ninja, so... I don't think we can rename it that. That is not a very stream-friendly thing, Fiery, for us to be able to call it. But it does feel that way sometimes. Alright, so Garlyle is through his first boss.
You clearly have never played Final Fantasy III on NES. Because every boss can be like this. Literally, every boss.
I actually have my copy for my Famicom in the mail right now for Final Fantasy III, so I can finally play it, because I have not played 1, 2, or 3 before, so those are on my to-do bucket list.
And what's worse is that in FF3, you do not have any save point outside of the overworld, so you do not have any save point from starting Crystal Tower to up until the final boss. If you die on any of the bosses in the boss rush, you gotta do everything back from the entrance of the Crystal Tower, which is actually long.
Yeah, so I actually have to the comment up from Unitsil. I actually do have the PlayStation version of the Final Fantasy Origins, which has 1 and 2 remastered on it. So that is how I'm probably going to play it. Now, for my own personal collection, I'm going to get a copy of the FF1 NES cart. But yeah, I'll probably play it on the remastered, and I'll kind of use that as a little bit of a... But eventually I'm going to have to learn it on the NES version, because I do want to learn the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, because that randomizer looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and same for FF3. If you want to run the easier version, well, first there's the DS remake, which then has been ported to PSP, iOS, etc. The easiest version is the Steam version, because it has actually a quick save function, so if you die in a fight, you can load a quick save and it's just before the fight. So yeah, definitely. Want to play FF3? Play the Steam version. It's the easiest one by far.
it's always funny. You look at the original, and it's very much you could just tell because like as Garlyle taking down the Apocalypse, I don't even see. Was that Argavius who was waiting for him there, or was that someone else?
That was someone else that could have.
He blew through it that quick.
Yeah, it just showed.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's one of those things you always. I mean, playing in the remakes is fun, but
that's Vanilla Catastrophe.
Wow, we've had a lot of vanilla bosses.
Well.
Yeah, this is funny that we've had what now 3 vanilla bosses. Now, does he have float? Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Midgard will give him float. He doesn't have a wall ring though, so he's gonna have to keep recasting that float.
Yeah, and unless he can cast Hast, I doubt he will be able to spam it.
Okay, he does have single. He does have single cast float, so.
Yeah, he has Masamune.
So yeah, he should be fine.
Yeah.
That's good to see, yeah, because unfortunately, Catastrophe without the float strats can be kind of nasty to deal with if he gets like his earthquake spells and everything off. So.
Yeah, because first he can use Demon Eye, which turns you to stone instantly. He can use Quicksand, which gives you Sap, which drains your HP slowly, and he can use Earthshaker. So, yeah, it can be really hard. I think he
Freddeh's
can
catching
also
up.
use Atomic Ray.
Freddeh's catching up. He's doing some pretty big damage with that Dancer and with his Berserker. He could catch up, which would make this really interesting. He's getting quite a few sword dances off, too. And another crit with that Yoichi bow. Yeah, he got through that a lot faster than Garlyle did. So we might have a very close race on our hands, everybody.
Well, Catastrophe is past first try on Garlyle's side, so that's going to be really good.
Using Masamune gives you haste. It is a single cast haste item that you can use. And it also just naturally starts you off with haste as well, right? Or it starts you instantly starts off with
It just gives you first strike.
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't think of the words. I'm glad you were able to put it into better, more elegant terms than I was as I bumbled over that.
Yeah, I mean, first strike is a natural ability in FF10. Like, you can give first strike to your weapon, and Masamune actually has this ability.
Yeah, see, I've not played a single believe it or not, I have not played a single Final Fantasy game after Final Fantasy VII. Eventually I want to go through and play the whole series, but I kind of was very much like, 1 through 6, I'm good. Final Fantasy VI is my favorite, and then 4 and 5 are right behind it, so...
Okay, so then, let me tell you that on Freddeh's side, all characters' names are based on the characters from Final Fantasy XII.
On whose side?
Freddeh's.
Freddeh's? Oh yeah, see, I wouldn't know any of those because I have not played.
Yeah,
so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, those are from FF12, like Bash is the soldier, Penelo is the main character's childhood friend, Fram is the Viera, so a rabbit woman.
True for Garlyle.
She accompanies Balthier, which is the sky pirate, and Ash is the princess.
So yeah, eventually I would like to play through the entire Final Fantasy series. Everybody's saying like, yeah, please try to play 12, please try to play 8. Yeah, I eventually am gonna play through all of them. You guys don't understand the backlog of like, I've got a whole bunch of Super Famicom games I want to play, like the Romancing Saga series, I want to play that, and like the original Saga, like Final Fantasy Legends, as it's called here in the US. I'll eventually get to them. I have such a big backlog of things I eventually want to play. And then on top of that, trying to practice for all the different randomizers I run. I don't know when I have enough time in the day. But I would like to bring up, so what are people's thoughts on Final Fantasy IX? Because like I remember when Final Fantasy IX first came out, everyone was like, oh, this game's terrible, it's not that great, it's so long, it takes forever, like all this. And now people are starting to come around to it, they're like, you know, actually Final Fantasy IX is a great game. I actually really, really love it.
Alright, so remember when we discussed which bosses can be the worst for the Void? Well, we found Vanilla Catastrophe, but now we have Shode. Shode can be really hard to deal with, because he will counter each attack by Demon Eye. It can counter X-Fight twice, so it can be 2 Demon Eyes, or it can also do a normal attack. I think he has muted Shout, which is why he doesn't use Drain or Demon Eye. Oh no, he used Stop. Yeah,
So
you can
look
also
where-
use Stop. Yeah.
Look where Freddeh is, though. He's catching up really quick.
Yeah.
He's just got to get through this catastrophe fight, which should be... So Shoat must have been in the Halicarnos spot, right?
Earthshaker opening is definitely not what you want to see.
That's just mean.
Yeah. Thanks, Catastrophe.
Yeah, you have to instantly reset. That's why he always... Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he can't know that's going to be Catastrophe there. So yeah, he's just going to put Float on. Thankfully, he was able to get through this boss. And he did save. So he's probably just looking for his Float spell or his... Yeah. There's his time. Yep, so Shoat is down for Garlyle. So Garlyle has a 1 boss lead. 2 boss now. 2 boss lead.
Well, we still have Twin Tennis spot, and it can be a really good boss or a really horrible boss. We haven't seen Stalkers, Bahamut, you know, Necrophobe, but
Yeah.
It can be like, oh, it
Find
can
out.
be a Tumos. It can be a Tumos.
Just a pretty easy fight.
Yeah, basically you just want to have one character dead. So
Like we have there.
yeah, so Atomos doesn't spam Comet.
Now you're
And
just gonna beat him up as fast as you can.
yeah, now it's just free.
Yep, he's got the X-Fight dual equip going on with Fang. He is going. Yep, he's gonna put haste up on everybody, and this is gonna be easy. All right. So meanwhile, Freddeh has that float up, so he is probably gonna be putting that up, and just again, the great thing about this fight, you can easily cheese him down just by casting float over again. Interesting, he's only casting float on 1 person, I guess because he knows that. I don't know. I'm not sure why he's only casting on 1, but does have big guard. Okay, he's just gonna use that to get up on everybody else. I guess he just wanted to cast that 1 float just to make sure it didn't hit him before he was waiting for it.
It's because he wanted to cast Big Quad. Like Big Quad does float already, so
Yeah, I guess I'm saying he casted that 1 single target float just to make sure that like the catastrophe did not act before he did and got hammered or quaked again basically. Atmos still staying up, but thankfully he's putting out enough damage. You don't even have to worry really about him sucking up the.
Giltos doing 0. Wow.
Interesting. Someone's gonna have to go out and shop then.
I mean, I think it's because Giltos will do 0 no matter what your money is on Catastrophe with this setup.
So many things to know.
So
Freddeh gets
Atomos
some
is
good-
down, and Garlyle is set to just get back to the save point, set up for the final boss, and that's all.
Yep, he's got the Ted and Ned fight, and then he'll be good to go. Meanwhile, Freddeh does get to Catastrophe down, so he is just 2 bosses away for taking on Ted and Ned himself. So, I unfortunately I think it's a little bit too much of a hurdle for Freddeh to cover, but it is still going to be a pretty close race. There's not going to be too much time between our runners. I'm not going to say anything about anybody's laptop tonight. I can't do that again.
Don't go for victory too early, because I haven't seen his kill amount.
Oh, that's right. He might still have to warp out. And in which case, if he wants to do it the easy way, he's going to have to take on the Necros fight. Or he's running a long way.
Considering what the remaining bosses are, I would just take the long way. I don't want to see Bahamut or Necrophobe.
He has Fiery saying he has 194k, which is enough.
Yes, you need 148,000 and 500 kills to be sure to deal with Neo Extras.
It is based off of your level, and it's, I forget what it is, but it's like money times level times your level times number of targets. I forget the exact formula. But I think they even calculated out the optimal level to do it at is like level 82, but it's hard to tell when you're level 82. So most of the time they just go to max level.
I'm quiet because it's currently 1 a.m. and my family just came up earlier to tell me to shut up because they wanted to sleep.
Yeah, it is unfortunately quite late for Ron, but I appreciate him coming to co-commentate with me, because otherwise you guys would have had to just put up with me by myself, and without a co-commentator, I really can go off on tangents. So be glad he is here to pull me back in from time to time.
Adding 10 and 20 is not hard. Managing all your characters' levels at once is not that easy. And even if you can count everything, you can only add 10 and 20. So you have to know what's your starting level, and if it's not something that ends with 2, you cannot get 82. And that's a white hole opening.
Not what you want to see. That is really unfortunate.
Like, it's not even the person who has the ribbon, because if it's the person who has the ribbon, the white hole doesn't get through and you're free to go. But nope, can't get lucky.
Yep. So now you're trying to recover really quickly. There he is. He's putting up the life shields to get everybody else safe. And once you get everybody else life shielded up, then he's just gonna he's gonna res him back up and it'll be fine. But it does take some time because this is delaying him having the getting up of his Samson's powers to get his levels up.
Alright, so what you want to do here is first get life shield on everyone. So you mix Phoenix Down and Revivify. This prevents any instant kill move to proc on you, so basically you nullify white hole. Then you want to haste your characters so they can set up more quickly. Like they have more turns, so you can use more commands. And then you want to use either Samson's power, which is Antidote and Revivifies, it has 10 levels, or if you're lucky enough to have Dragon Fangs and Potions, you can use Dragon Power, which gives you 20 levels at once.
Hey Ron, maybe you have another career after whatever you're doing now. Maybe you could be an ASMR streamer. Apparently you got the voice for it. I know my voice is normally like a cheese grater and nobody wants to hear me talk for longer than I have to, but you do got that ASMR voice down.
I'm pretty sure a prosecutor earns way more.
Fair enough, but people like ASMR. Why would you want to deny the people? Anyway.
Because I'm currently studying to become a prosecutor, especially.
Fair enough. It seems like a much more valid career path than ASMR streamer, so I can't be too surprised. But yep, we can see Garlyle setting up. He's got the white holes up. He's got the golem up, so he doesn't have to worry about physical hits. So now you can see he is putting up that Samson power, getting his levels up and ready to go. And then he's going to do like everybody does when you have a big problem. You throw money at it and it goes away.
By the way, as I said at the beginning of the scene, Mimic, Mimic's the last command for free. So you see all the Samson's power, you get 10 levels for free and really quickly.
Yep.
However, well, you can mimic guild toss, but you will still toss money. It's not for free.
It's not that good.
But it allows you to use guild toss even if you don't have the command. That means with a full mimic party, you can have a lot of different commands to set up, like time to use Ast 2, White Mage to heal, Blue Mage to get big gold, etc. And use only one person with guild toss and the rest use Mimic to mimic the guild toss. And that's really good.
Enigma, so so it's just that you need to make sure, like I said, the portal bosses are currently set to random. I wouldn't say they're harder than X-Death. They definitely are very different from X-Death, and a lot of our runners don't have as much practice on the different portal bosses. So for this race setting, since, I mean, in a future setting, we might say, hey, you have to do the portal boss to make it interesting. But the runners are just more familiar with Ted and Ned. So it makes more sense for them to do this where they know they have a strategy that's going to make quick work of him than take the risk of going to the portal boss. But it is something in the future we talked about. Hey, maybe in a future tournament you don't do Ted and Ned. Maybe in the future you have to do the portal boss, which would make it just even more interesting for the runners and also for people watching, because they are 3 unique bosses that are not vanilla to this game.
Well, the problem with portal boss is that first you need to get to the last room of the void to get your code of the void. Then you need to get like to Phoenix Tower, I think, which is a completely different location. And then you get one of the 3 or 4 random portal bosses. So if you're set up for a portal bosses, you're way largely set up for Ted and Ned. So you wouldn't lose time. You would just go for Ted and Ned.
Yep. Yeah, I think the only reason why we would ever do the portal bosses in a race is if it was required. Like, portal bosses required, you cannot do. Ted and Ned does not in the race, or would like doing Ted and Ned to in the randomizer would disqualify you. We have to very much set it up that it was required. Because as you saw here, like, Garlyle was able to just sit up at the tree X death phase, do basically just a setup, and make quick work of that stage, and now he just gets to do, and we're going to be seeing time for Garlyle coming up pretty soon, because he's going to make quick work using these guild tosses. And this is why you see just how, like, through most of the race, you're going to use whatever you can. Oh, gets the Euro 3 off, but not going to do much damage because of that big guard. But for Ted and Ned, the tried and true setup that we've been going with, unless you just don't find any other pieces, is guild toss, chemist is the way to go. And you can see he's using that mimic too, because it's that top command. It's a lot quicker for him to just use that, then select it down.
And time.
Yep, there it is right there.
And Garlyle wins. He advances to the next stage of the bracket, which would be the loser's final. And he will face the loser of the winner's final, either Karma or Francois or P. And welcome in GG's.
Oh, what a seat that was.
It was pretty straightforward though. Like, there wasn't too much like room for you to kind of get lost anywhere though.
I mean, yeah, that's part of it. Like, it's been a while since I've had a seat that speedy. That was a new PB by about 6 minutes.
I can imagine, yeah, sub 145 is very fast.
But the moment that I realized that we roughly knew where everything was, I just started internally panicking, like, I need to go. Freddeh is... If anybody I know here is capable of capitalizing on a seed like this, it's Freddeh. I've got to go.
Neck and neck for a long time. There's 2 things that I think really kind of put you ahead. The first is...
Fork Tower.
Fork Tower was the big one, because unfortunately Freddeh struggled a little with that one. And Freddeh did all the bosses in Xdeath's Castle, where I'm assuming you knew right away that because of the hints you had, that none of those bosses in Xdeath's Castle had anything you needed. Was that your thinking there?
I think I'd stumbled into everything accidental. By the time I reached Xdeath's Castle, I'm like, okay, it's at Odin and it's at Fork Tower, and I have access to Fork Tower. Let's go.
Yeah, so then you can just say, okay, I don't need to do these bosses unless it's for XP, because you're not going to find anything on them.
I mean, skipping Gogo definitely helped.
Yeah, finding the submarine key also took a load off, because it wasn't like, okay, there's a chance that I missed like the submarine key here or something, and I end up having to come back for mystery checks later. No, I knew.
Yeah, it was funny. There was very much a moment where Freddeh went right away to Minotaur. He had to throw Assassin's Dagger already, so he found it through Assassin's Dagger, got him out. Meanwhile, you were in Fork Tower, and I think you had just about finished up Fork Tower. So you were both at like 1 tablet away, and you obviously went back to the Sealed Castle, got that Assassin's Dagger, and did the same thing. But Freddeh just kind of had some rough time at the Fork Tower. And I think that was by far kind of what gave you the lead and what gave you the win, pretty much.
Yeah, fortunately I'd run into, I think, Melusine at Fork Tower like during the last race I did. And so I was ready for it. Panda, I literally was just like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do about this dude. And then I looked through my stuff and I'm like, wait a second, I have Condemn.
Yeah.
He's actually big loss.
Yep. So yeah, it was interesting because a lot of the chat was saying this is the most I've ever seen Condemn strats used, because Freddeh used Fire 3 Magic Sword to one-shot Biblos. And also on Marigine to just really wreck her really quick. You were I think you used condemn strats 3 times this race. Everyone's like, I don't think I've ever seen condemn strats used this much.
Yeah, it works in a surprising number of things, and I didn't like all of my instant kill tools were based on stone. I don't think I ever actually learned slash. I didn't find anything with instant death. So condemn just happened to fill a niche that worked really well.
Yeah. And
You
Freddie's
found
actually
some
setting
luck,
up on
Michael.
Ted Ned right now, so he was at the 3x death phase getting everything set up, so yeah, he was not too far behind you.
Yeah, I'd have been surprised if he was really far behind me, unless he got like completely caught up and missed a check somewhere. Like, I knew he was going to be at best, he was going to be hot on my heels.
For sure. Yeah, so how did you feel about just the seed overall? I mean, you found, like, that sealed castle was stacked.
Yeah, the sealed castle was really good, and then, like, when I decided, okay, I still don't really have the MP to put too much work to this, and I headed to Wind Shrine, and it just slapped me in the face with multiple jobs. I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of these.
Yes, yeah, when you saw Knight, and you saw Knight, you saw the Time Mage there as well, and you're like, jackpot, thank you.
Yeah, I think this is one of the few times I've gotten Knight and not actually used it, though.
Yeah. I mean, but you also, you found a sealed cave chicken blade, you found Dancer fairly quickly, so. Alright, Freddie's still setting up. He is still on the tree X death phase, but he should be, I think he's got everybody life shielded up. I think he is just in the Samson power phase now.
Alright, so Garlyle. Well, you may remember, but in Winner's Bracket Round 2, you actually lost against Freddeh, and now in Losers Semi, you could actually take your revenge. How do you feel about that? Like, that was basically a rematch.
Yeah,
and you won.
Yeah, I knew it was possible. Like, that first match, I think there was like a 12-minute difference or something. I remember looking it up before we did this match here. And I was like, okay, that isn't a huge gap in skill, and I know that I've only improved since then too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, yeah, I remember that race. It was still a very close one. Like you said, 12 minutes is not super far to make up. That's simply I did one check that the other person didn't, or I had just a little bit of trouble at this one boss the other person didn't. So it was glad to see that you were just like, you kind of went in, were able to kind of make up that difference, and like you said, Rom said, get your revenge and get as those in the fighting game community would call it, your salty run back. So
I wasn't gonna be salty even if I lost, because
yeah,
I mean, that place is still really damn good, but I'll take keeping going.
Yeah, that was it was a great race. I mean, you both put up an amazing race.
Talking about keeping that going, the next match is the winners final between Karma and Francois RB. This is happening Friday night. And the loser of that match will face Garlyle in losers finals. So, who do you think you will face, Garlyle?
I have a funny feeling it might be Francois, because despite Karma like downplaying and oftentimes saying going into this he wasn't feeling too confident, he didn't feel like a master of the game, Karma's kind of shown up, but
Yeah.
I better bring my A game for either of them, because yeah.
Karma is that guy who does a seed every single night and goes, I don't feel that good. I don't think that I'm that good of a racer. And it's like, you do a race seed every single night. What do you mean you don't feel that good? And just a quick reminder, Rom's here. So that is that race on Friday. That is at night for you. For those of us on the other side of the pond, that race is, I believe, at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So
that's going to be prime time for us French people. That's why FH scheduled at the time. It's prime time for him.
Okay.
That's our preferred spot. That's because 3 p.m. Est, you had 6 hours. That's 9 p.m. for us. That's really convenient. Like, it's after dinner, we're ready. That's the perfect time.
Hopefully we'll have enough people to cover it, because I know that's right in the middle of the workday for me, so unfortunately I will not be able to comment or watch that one. I'll have to catch the VOD at a later time, unfortunately.
And ironically enough, I won't be available. I mean, I will be available to watch, but not participate in it, unfortunately. And
All right, Freddeh.
I do want to see that because his Francois Zombie is my French mate. So
yeah, I was gonna say another Frenchman, possibly going on to the grand finals. All right, Freddeh's on XDeath, or on Ned, so he is on Neo XDeath, so he is probably going to be making quick work of this as well. Basically about as fast as, Garlyle, you made quick work of XDeath.
Yeah, it turns out just Chemist, Giltoss, like, that combination alone is just so solidly reliable for getting the game done. Like,
I think we've only seen one race where the runners did not have... Oh, unfortunately... XDeath is going to get a Delta, okay. But yeah, it's going to get a Delta attack off, so I don't think that's going to cause too much of a time difference. Because he does have the big garden up, yeah, and he's on to the last section. But yeah, I think we've only seen one time have the runners not had the Chemist Samurai set up for XDeath.
I think there's been at least a couple that have happened. I'm pretty sure I remember doing, like, double cast summons as a strat at one point.
Yes, I think okay, you're right. I have seen like people had to double cast like not Shiva, not Silva. What am I thinking of? Not Leviathan. Sildra. Yeah. I do remember that. And Freddeh, GG's to him as well with an official time of 149.21. And he is joining us here in the room now as well. GG's, Freddeh.
GG's. Yeah, well played, Garlyle.
Yeah, that was...
freaking destroyed it.
Yeah, when I realized how quick that seed was, I was like, oh god, if there's anybody here who can put the pressure on me and that I need to just go ham against, it's you, so...
Yeah,
I mean, it worked.
You work both like neck to neck the entire race. The only spot that really kind of put Garlyle ahead was the Fork Tower.
Was it Mary Jean? Yeah, that makes sense.
Mary Jean,
I had a bad time with Mary Jean.
Mary Jean really hated Captain Bash from Rosenberg from Damascus.
Really did hate Captain Bash.
Yeah. So that was the big one. But there was a very funny spot where you were in Minotaur and had just done the throw Assassin's Dash kill, and at the same time Garlyle was finishing up the Fork Tower, and you two basically switched spots. And like we said, unfortunately, you just had a rougher time in the tower than Garlyle did. So
man, you did Fork first? Crazy, man.
So I went to fight Minotaur first and realized it was Minotaur, and I'm like, wait, I can just get the other tablet and grab the Assassin Dagger and come back here. So I had to make 2 trips there, but I effectively ended up doing Fork Tower first.
Yeah, on his second tablet.
Yeah, I had to save out. Because I didn't have throw either. I actually grabbed tablet or Assassins with my second one, so that was my that was my third tablet. But I also had to save and quit out and do it the second time because I didn't have throw equipped.
I was gonna say, Freddeh, did you grab the Assassin's Dagger on your second tablet or on your third?
Second tablet.
You grab it on your second. So did you grab that thinking that you have not run into Minotaur and that you'd seen throw, or was that just hey, in case I have to use it?
Nope, that was for Minotauros.
Okay, because we were like, if that's the exact reason why he picked up that was a very 5-head play right there. Because we were like, because he hasn't seen Minotauros yet, and he sees the Assassin's Dagger, and we're like, I'm pretty sure he knows that trick. So yeah, that was a pretty 5-head play then.
I mean, yeah, with I don't remember if I knew I was in go mode when I went and took my second trip. I think I did because I was right. I did my second trip right before XDeath's Castle, right? So yeah, I went in there. I'm like, well. If I run into Minotauros at some point, it's going to be a tough fight, so I'm going to want my Assassin's Dagger. And then since I know 2 hard places are coming up, I'm going to want it for one of those, I'm sure, because it'll probably happen.
On the XDeath's Castle, since you brought that up, another thing that kind of gave Garlyle a little bit of time difference was he did not do any of the XDeath Castle bosses. He didn't do
so you were under-leveled and still beat Mary Jean faster than me? What did you do? Sorry,
Fire 2. I got in. I realized it was Melocene. I immediately backed out. I took Chicken Knife Magic Sword with Fire 2, and I had a Time Age spamming stop to basically reduce how much he'd be able to do. Plus,
that makes sense. I mean, I didn't get a chance to do anything like my second attempt. Like that was more or less my plan. But I put Bosch in the front thinking he would survive a one-shot, forgetting that I had literally no armor. Like, armor was rough that seed.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And because I had Mystic Knight Fire 3, it's like, oh, okay, well, it won't be hard to kill her. I just needed to do it. But then, so the first trip I had saved out. Second trip, I got insta-killed. And then was it the third trip I killed her or the fourth trip?
Yes,
I think
third
another
trip,
trip
you got her.
happened.
Either 3 or
And
4, I forget.
the Kara going with them was definitely a mistake, but it worked out. So I'm like,
Yeah, we were just like, man, he is sending 3 people up that way. He really wants her down. But yeah, it worked out. You were able to fire 3 sword, a panda down in 1 hit, so or a Billows down in 1 hit, so yep, that worked out for you. But yeah, that was the 2 moments really that Garlyle, you were kind of able to take the lead, is the skipping the bosses and X Death, and obviously just the Fork Tower. Which the second you saw the Fork Tower Path of the Void, did you just groan instantly, or?
The truth was, I'd already expected it because my last 2 race seeds, I got the Fork Tower hint like 5 minutes in as well. I was just like, oh, okay, we're doing this again. I see.
Yeah, it seems like if you get that Fork Tower Path of the Void, you're just like, oh, it's one of those seeds, is it?
Yep, here we go.
Yep. But thankfully, though, the hints were pretty nice. They led you really quickly to where you need to go for most things. You really didn't. The one spot where you're like, okay, if this happens, this could be a really interesting, is if the Biblos spot had given you a second key item. Because then you would have to have picked, okay, do I go do Hero Call or do I go do whatever this item is? And that would have been the interesting moment. But thankfully, it just gave you 1 key item, so you knew right away where to go.
Yeah. I wasn't sure I was throwing because I didn't remember exactly. Like, I was pretty sure it was Elder Branch from Moogle Cave, but I wasn't sure. And I had done Moogle Cave before I got the hint. So usually I write that down, but I forgot to write stuff down on this one because I'm just out of practice and forgot. But so I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Elder Branch. I'm like 90% sure this is Elder Branch, but if it's not, I'm gonna look real silly right now.
Yeah, like there was also the Ball Castle hint where you had to really quickly remember. Like, thankfully, Ball Castle, the Abductor spot, did also not give a key item. It just gave an item, because otherwise you would have to go, okay, well, is this key item that's talking about, or is it the Odin spot on Ball Castle that has the key item that's Path of the Void? So you definitely had some hints or possibilities that it could be really ambiguous on which way you needed to go. But thankfully, the randomizer was at least nice to you in that aspect.
Yeah, no super long chains that I had to deal with. We had to deal with really, like...
Yeah.
I was worried about Desert for a bit, but it showed up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. And Zeza Fleet only led to 1.
Yeah, and Zeza Fleet was just Zeza Fleet instead of this long friggin' thing.
Yep.
I think I might have had a better chance if it was a harder Void, but...
Yeah, that was...
I mean, the Shoat sucked, but...
That was fairly merciful. I was fine with Shoat, but I've gotten used to that being there. The thing I was most scared about was Necrophobia at Twintania. Like,
or Stalkers. Stalkers you did not run into either.
Stalkers would have been irritating, but it wouldn't have been all that hard. Necrophobia, my party literally wouldn't have survived the opening round.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have been real close.
It was surprising on how many vanilla bosses you ran into, though. In this seed, there was 3 vanilla bosses.
Yeah, there was a lot of vanilla bosses I noticed. I'm like, oh hey, another vanilla boss.
Yeah, that's where just like people were like, is this randomized? It's like, I know it is because we've seen stuff that isn't supposed to be there, but just what are the odds of 3 bosses and their vanilla spots? So.
Okay, did you get insta-jibbed by Catastrophe too? Because I sure did.
No,
he did
fortunately, I got lucky and he just tried to die somebody at the start. But
yeah. Yeah, Freddie, you had a rough go of it.
He literally opened up with Earthshaker and killed everyone but Lena, which is funny because usually it's just Lena that dies. But
yes, Lena somehow survived. Yeah.
So I ended up I was planning on doing Wall Strike, so I guess a little bit of time doing that, but I was already. I think the skipping meat for it was what gave you the lead.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest difference, and then not being able to do the second Trimera Gene probably helped, but.
Yeah, well, it was a great run from both of you. So, Garlyle, any last words before we start getting out of here?
No, just GG. Thanks to everybody who came by and watched. Thanks to you guys for hosting and tracking this and stuff. Since I know we were kind of scrambling last night to actually find a crew in time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thankfully I was able to sneak out of work a little bit early and I was able to get on quickly enough, so.
Nice.
But also, Freddie, any last comments before we start heading out?
Good luck against the, I guess the loser of the match on Friday, Garlyle. Go take complete your redemption arc and take him down for me.
I'll do my best. I've got. There may only be 3 of us left, but I've got 3 matches left to win if I want to win.
Right.
Yeah, it would be quite
Never
a
know.
run, Garlyle, but I think you can do it. So, Rom, anything you want to say before we start getting out of here?
Well,
Since I know it's late for you.
yeah, I would just had a really good night, and well, stay tuned because as I said earlier, winners final is Friday on 3 p.m. Est, so 9 p.m. CST. So don't miss that out. Garlyle wants to know who we will face in losers final, and of course we want to see who will win the tournament. So stay tuned, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in. Thanks to Classy for commentating with me. Thanks to the runners for pulling up this show. Thanks to everyone in SpeedGaming for hosting the restreams. Thank you all, and we will see you later.
Night, everybody.
Night.